What up, YouTube? It's your boy JT, and I meant to do this video earlier, but so Gennady Golovkin's promoter, Tom Loeffler, came out. So yeah, Tom Loeffler, he basically said that Triple G will fight Ward. Ward's the best super middleweight. Golovkin's the best middleweight, and they can meet in the middle at 164. 50-50 split on all revenue, but he doesn't believe that Ward would agree that Golovkin is now the A side. Wow. I'm gonna assume that means that if they are going to make this fight right now, or basically in a foreseeable future, like in the fall. If you're talking about now, see, here's the thing, man. A lot of fans, man, are, a lot of delusional, deranged, bloodthirsty people, they don't think with their head. It's just all emotional based thoughts. You know what I mean? If you were Golovkin's promoter, you know, first of all, I want to say that it is a contradiction, because he said that he's willing to fight anyone, and his team has said that they're willing to fight anyone from 68 to 54. Okay, it's a contradiction. But if you were Golovkin's promoter, and your guy is 33 years old, would you put him in the ring with Andre Ward just to satisfy a bunch of bloodthirsty fans? Who, doesn't care about what happens next. They're just going to jump off the bandwagon with or off of whoever loses the fight. And would you do that? If if especially if you got a fighter who, as popular as Golovkin has became, basically he's top of the top 5 draws in the sport. He's at the top of the sport as far as popularity. Now, so would you throw him in that fight just to satisfy a bunch of hardcore boxing fans who would want to see the fight? I would want to see the fight. At 168 or 64, it doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, see, here's the thing, man, with catchweights, it's basically it's by, I'm losing my train of thought here, but anyway, man, it's the catchweights are on, or it goes by bases, man. But it goes by the fight and the situation. It depends on the situation, man. As far as like Daniel Gill, for example, coming off a knockout, and the guy's already, 34, 35 years old. We know that catchweight, the guy's gonna get smoked out of there. It's, well, not that he's gonna get smoked out of there, but it's gonna put him at a severe, severe disadvantage. Whereas you got a guy like Sean Porter, who I personally thought it would affect him, but I didn't give, I didn't, I wouldn't put as much pressure on that catchweight, because with the fight with Adrian Broner, because of Sean Porter's age. Basically it goes by case scenario, man. Sean Porter's age, he hasn't came off getting knocked out or something crazy like that. Like when that bitch Pacquiao, he had all those catchweights, with Cotto and Margarito and, all those De La Hoya, Weight Drain. Those guys were coming off of losses and taking beatings and getting knocked out. In this case, Ward's never lost. Golovkin's never lost. They're both in their prime. They're both A-level fighters. So I don't really see it being that big a deal, man, to be honest. After thinking about it for a while, I don't really see it being that big a deal, dude. You know, it's no different from the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. You know, if Pacquiao, let's say Pacquiao never moved up and never moved up to fight De La Hoya at 47, and he stayed at 140, and he knocked out Haddon, and you know, he beat a bunch of those guys coming down and he drained them down and catch weight, but he stayed at 140. Would you argue him fighting Mayweather, let's say at a catch weight of 144? You would still want to see the fight. It would bring a cloud over the fight, but you would still want to see it. And it's no different from this fight. To me, I would still want to see it. I don't think it would affect Ward too much. Ward's a small guy, man. I mean, I don't know, I don't know where y'all come up with this. He's a light heavyweight, because clearly to me he's not. He's not as big. He's not as solid as uh, Kovalev and Stevenson. He's not as tall like Lucien Boutte. He's only 6 feet. He has very small, thin legs, and he's smaller top. So, I mean, to me, when he was training before he was fighting Paul Smith, I was like, damn, man, he looks like he can make middleweight. It surprised me that he wanted to fight Paul Smith at 172. Surprised me. So, after consideration, man, this is what I've come up with. I would rather the fight be at 168, and make it a title fight. But if I'm Golovkin's handlers, I wouldn't just throw him in there and Andre Ward at his first fight at 168. You got to keep in mind this guy's never fought at 168. Go look at BoxRec. He's never fought. Golovkin's never fought at 168. So it would be stupid of his promotional team to throw him in a fight with Andre Ward for his first fight. So, I would say best case scenario is this, man. They hold out on the fight, which would, benefit them both. They both can make some decent money. Hold out on the fight and let Golovkin fight Froch or fight a super middleweight, either Abraham, Stieglitz, somebody like that. And after that, fight Ward. I wouldn't just throw him in there the first fight just because a bunch of bloodthirsty lunatic fans want to see it. Just want to see Golovkin get beat for whatever reason, you know. It's getting harder to support Golovkin because of the amount of bitch-made, prejudiced, delusional packtards who have jumped on his dick. It's getting, it's getting out of control. But, that can be a good thing in the long run, because this fight, I feel, can be built up to a super fight, man. I don't see why not. I don't see why this fight couldn't be built up to a super fight. If they hold out probably a year, let's build it up, start talking some shit, and, I feel like this fight can be another super fight in the sport of boxing. It could be a good thing, but we have to be, you know, we have to be more partial in this. We can't make the same mistakes we did with the whole Mayweather Pacquiao shenanigans, man. Where you got a bunch of delusional fans. I feel this is a much more competitive fight. It's gonna be a much more, uh, it's just a much better fight than Mayweather Pacquiao. I mean, Golovkin is clear to me the truth. Top 5 pound for pound. He's not a fraud, fake midget like Pacquiao. He's for real, for sure. And Ward, we know, is a real one. So I feel like this is a much more competitive fight. This can be a real super fight if they just. I think they should hold off on it, man. Build it up for at least another year. And then, let's have another event in the sport of boxing. You guys tell me what you think. It's your boy GT. I'm out.